What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Young Guns podcast. And we have another trade to announce, guys. Damon Severson is leaving New Jersey and he is heading to the Columbus Blue Jackets in a sign and trade. So we saw this a couple of years ago when Florida traded Matt Tkachuk over to Calgary in a sign and trade. It's kind of similar in this situation, only that Damon Severson was an unrestricted free agent, meaning that July 1st, he would have been eligible to sign with any team in the NHL. However, Columbus decided that they were going to try to negotiate with him earlier by trading a third round pick to the Devils and seeing if they can get him on an 8-year term. So Columbus trades the third round pick, which is an 80th overall pick, over to the Devils in exchange for Severson. If you look at Jay Fresh on Twitter here, it says Damon Severson acquired and signed at 8 times 6.5 by Columbus, 6.25 by Columbus, is an analytical darling offensive defenseman with excellent passing ability, whose tendency to make the occasional big mistake often earned him the ear of Devils fans. He's a good defenseman. He's 29 years old. He's in his prime of his career. He's a guy that is very good offensively, but also decent in his own zone. Yes, he makes the occasional mistake here and there, but for the most part, he does what he's supposed to do. Then you've got the Devils. 81 games played this year. He scored 7 goals. He had 28 assists for 33 points. 3 points in the playoffs in 12 games. Not bad stats. He's definitely a guy who's going to be a top 4 defenseman for Columbus. Just going a little bit towards Frank Saravelli's tweets, he tweeted out just what the future would look like for Columbus. If you look at the top 4 that they just had, Zach Werenski, Damon Severson, as your top 2 pairing is very interesting. And then Saravelli had something interesting. He had Ivan Provorov and he had David Jiricek. Now, that's for the future. As of right now, it would probably be Andrew Peeke, Adam Boqvist, or even Eric Goodbranson. But for the future, you could look out at a guy like David Jiricek. And what's interesting about Columbus, too, is that they have another guy on their list that they could potentially move in Adam Boqvist. Boqvist is a guy who, in my opinion, is very, very good at what they do. And so, I think it's going to be a very good move for them. If they have to go move a guy like Boqvist, I think it's going to work out just fine. Just going a little bit more towards this, the reason as to why Columbus traded a third round pick is very simple. It's because they wanted to get ahead of what they needed to do. And so what they did was they traded a third round pick to basically get the additional year on Damon Severson's contract. If you look at Columbus, $5.8 million in projected cap space. They still have their first rounder, still have a second rounder, still have a third rounder, 2 fourths, a fifth, and a seventh as well in their draft. This is actually going to be Calgary's pick from Columbus that's going to end up going over to the New Jersey Devils. And just to continue going over here, they have 3 bona fide top 4 defensemen. If you look at the other move that they made early on in the season, early on in the free agency, they traded away. They acquired Ivan Provorov just 72 hours ago. And what's interesting about that is that, a lot of people were asking the question of Mike Babcock, right? Is Mike Babcock going to be the difference maker for this team? Because obviously there was a lot of criticism when Columbus was the rumor to hire Mike Babcock. And according to the agent of Damon Severson, whose name is Jason Davidson, he said that was not a concern, that Severson liked the project in Columbus. He liked what they were building, and he was excited to join them. And obviously, when you get 8 years at 6.25, there's definitely going to be some excitement for sure. I think personally, my personal thoughts just on this deal a little bit is I think New Jersey and Columbus come off very good here. I think for New Jersey, they acquire an asset for a guy who was not going to re-sign with them. And as for Columbus, they bolster their decor even more. And if you look at Columbus and if you pay attention to their team just a little bit, you've got Johnny Gaudreau, you've got Alex Texier, you've got guys like Patrick Laine, Kent Johnson. They're getting the third overall pick. They might potentially draft Fantilli or Carlson. There's opportunities there. And then you look at, guys like Jack Roslovic, guys like Kirill Marchenko as well, Cole Sillinger. These are all decent guys on offense, and th're going to add someone else there, Boone Jenner as well. They're going to add guys on offense. And then you look at their decor with Provorov, with Severson, they're in a much better position this year going into next season than they were at this time last year, right? And obviously they lost Zach Werenski early on in the year last year, which affected essentially their playoff hopes or any hope that they had of potentially doing anything in the regular season. But now you've got three guys essentially that they've acquired that are going to be very interesting players. And then you also have David Jiricek, who's in, the AHL. He's a guy that I think played really well, dominated, did exactly what he was supposed to do. So I think he showed just what he was capable of in the AHL. They're hoping that he potentially makes the NHL this year. However, with the likes of the NHL-ready defensemen they currently have, there's no guarantees that he'll make the team. And then just to finally close it out over here, I just want to say that, I like the move from Columbus. I think if there's one thing that they're going to do is add potentially another top six forward. And if they can get the best out of Elvis Merzlikins, then I believe that they're in a very good position. So good move for Columbus, good move for New Jersey. Guys, please let us know in the comments section below what your thoughts are on this deal. What are your thoughts on Columbus? Who do you think came out on top? And what other moves do you think are going to be expected, not only from the Columbus Blue Jackets directly, but also from the New Jersey Devils moving into the offseason? So just give us your thoughts, and thank you guys for watching.